Now, there comes a moment in every person's life when they must ask questions of themselves. What am I doing? Why am I doing it? What sequence of decisions are made along the way that has left me in this situation that I currently find myself? And the answer to these questions is quite simple. Star Citizen.
Hallelujah!
This game is a sci-fi nerd's ultimate wet dream. Think of Pammy in her swimsuit, Sydney in her jeans, Bonnie but it's the kind of game that whispers, imagine the possibilities into your ear like it's trying to get your pants off. And let's be completely honest, judging by the amount of cash this thing has raised, apparently it works.
Oh, I like money.
Yeah.
How many billion?
You can walk across the hangar deck of a battleship as your friends land on a planet across the galaxy. You can descend into a city's neon-lit underbelly, watch a sunrise from orbit, or run illicit cargo past an AI security net while classical music plays in the background. It's an immersive cinematic MMO sandbox which is dripping with potential.
Just look at me. I'm soaking wet.
And then it asks you for your credit card. And boy, does it ask repeatedly. Because behind all of that vision, behind all of the persistent virtual universe, a universe where the traffic of a planet's megacity can be seen from outer space, lies a pricing model that makes Balenciaga look like Primark, with a monetization scheme so predatory it may as well been thought up by certain individuals that used to work at the BBC.
We all knew what that cigar muncher was up to.
Welcome to Store Citizen. Welcome to Star Citizen, where the only thing faster than your ship is how quickly it can empty your fucking wallet.
We were robbed. Do you think so?
Now let's just say you want to get started. Nothing fancy, just a ship in the game. That'll be $45 to $60 for a starter pack. Great, that's much better than the $80 for a lot of games these days. This gets you access to a basic ship, the Mustang Alpha, which is basically the Vauxhall Corsa of the galaxy, 6 months insurance, and a few space quid to tide you over. Not bad, right?
Wrong.
Well, yes, until you realise that's just the cover charge. That's just the come on in price, the price of a ticket to entry. Because then you start looking around the store and you realise that this is where the real party's at. On a yacht, a literal space yacht, and all of the hot and juicy good stuff is in here, being dangled in front of you like having Sabrina Carpenter dangle her at you and offering her nipples for breakfast.
Bitty.
I'm sorry?
Bitty.
Not bitty now, darling. Have an egg or something.
And as you probably do not need me to tell you, old Brina's nippies do not come cheap. You see, Star Citizen doesn't have a traditional MMO pricing model. Instead of a monthly subscription, Star Citizen sells you ships for real-world cash. A lot of real-world cash as it happens. It's perfect if you're a Rothschild, or the Sultan of something, or your first name's Sheikh. But for Dave at number 20, who struggles to pay his mortgage, put petrol in the car, and feed at least some of his 18 children, as you're going to see, folks, this could be something of a stretch. For instance, you can purchase the 890 Jump retailing for $600, or the Javelin, a ship so large it practically qualifies for a postcode, coming in at $2,500. That's assuming you're fast enough to grab one of the 500 manufactured before they run out. Yeah, like they couldn't just pull another 500 out the crack of their arse at the drop of a hat and the click of a button.
Eric, did you just take a crap on my desk?
Or perhaps you can stump up for the Ultimate Explorer pack, for which you get 6 ships and an adorable Carrick Expedition plushie, all for the bargain price of £1,048. Oh, and it's not a real plushie, but an in-game item. Lucky fucking us. Excelsior! And let's not forget the upgrades. You can give your Hercules Starlifter a fresh coat of paint for the bargain price of $60. Or give your 890 Jump a respray for 40 quid. You can melt your current ship and pay the difference to upgrade to something better. It's like trading in a Toyota Corolla for a Lamborghini and telling yourself you saved money because it was only $300 more, which is genius because it makes you feel frugal while your wallet's still getting its back doors smashed in.
I don't even know what self-respect means at this point.
In this game, and I use the term game very, very loosely, there is a storefront for everything. Ships, paint jobs, skins, weapons, armor, lifetime insurance, ship bundles with names like Expedition Explorer Pack. And then there's the warbond tier, Star Citizen's version of a discount if you ignore the fact that it makes absolutely no sense. See, when you melt a ship or trade it into you or me, you get a store credit. Now, in a sane world, you'd think that that credit would work like, money. But warbond ships, they spit in the face of that logic, they piss in the shoes of common sense, and they curl one out into the cupped hands of reason.
You in full retard, man.
You see, with a warbond, you get the same ship, but at a cheaper price. But only if you use fresh, real-world cash, not store credit, not your melt value, just good old-fashioned new money. It's probably the first loyalty scheme in history that punishes you for being loyal.
I can remember thinking as I stood on the ledge and jumped into the fireman's net, that's gratitude for it.
These are the ships that come with lifetime insurance. That golden badge of virtual privilege. Warbond bundles often include the best paints, the best gear, or exclusive cosmetics, but only if you double down and spend again. You've already paid once? Tough. Open your wallet again. You want the best deal? Well, now it's time to pull down your pants and get ready for hammer time again. It's not a discount, it's a cultist ritual where every transaction is a reoccurring financial baptism of fire. And boy, does it work. The warbond versions almost always sell out first because CIG has trained its community to associate cheapest with most exclusive. It's less about the ship and more about getting into the VIP section of a game that hasn't even launched. But if official monetization isn't dystopian enough for you, then let's take a detour to the dark corners of the grey market. Aronst.
You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Is Star Citizen's unofficial secondary economy. eBay for spaceship whales. Ship that once sold for $400 in the pledge store now go for $800, $900, sometimes more, just because they come with lifetime insurance or were concept-only releases. And no, LTI doesn't do much apart from guarantee that your ship respawns forever, because paying to respawn a ship you spent $800 on is an actual thing in this game.
This is the way.
But that guarantee, that label, it can easily double the price. Let's just hope CIG don't decide to switch the server off in the future, eh, folks? These aren't just ships anymore. They're speculative assets, digital prestige, NFTs being flipped like bored apes for sci-fi nerds who drive Teslas and worship Chris Roberts like he's some sort of the invisible space wizard. And thanks to CIG's marketing tactics, limited quantities, artificial scarcity, seasonal exclusive, the Aronst market thrives. Miss a sale? Well, that's too bad. You can either wait until next year or pay some arsehole on Discord twice the price for the privilege of not waiting. Brilliant! Now, CIG insists every ship will be earnable in-game with the in-game currency. Support now, earn later, they say, as if we're invested in the infrastructure of a lunar colony. And yes, it's technically true, you can grind for that $600 ship, but let's face it, you are gonna be grinding harder than Busty Breener after 2 lines of for that thing. All it'll take is a few hundred hours of cargo hauling, asteroid mining, or running illegal box missions until you wake up one morning and look in the mirror and realise that you look like you've been in a coma for the last 20 years. And don't forget, your progress could get wiped in the next quarterly update. So yes, in theory, nothing is paywalled, But in practice, you're either mortgaging your time, mortgaging your sanity, or mortgaging your fucking house.
Digga, wie unfair! What the fuck? Das ist so todeslow!
Now, with all that being said, the elephant in the room does need to be addressed. Star Citizen is fucking incredible. When it works, it's the most immersive, jaw-dropping game you have ever touched. Nothing comes close in terms of scope or immersion. You can EVA from your ship to a drifting derelict, or crawl through decompressed corridors, salvage scrap in zero-G, then fly home across a planet's atmosphere as a thunderstorm rips across the surface below. There's no loading screen, there's no hard cut. It's just you in the verse. It is the ultimate sci-fi fantasy. The dream of space not as a theme, but as a lifestyle. It's not a level, it's a career. It's not a mission, it's your life out there. I mean, there's not a lot of actual gaming there at the moment, but as far as an actual immersive sci-fi fantasy goes, there is absolutely nothing like it. And that's why people spend, because the game doesn't just sell ships, it sells a future. It says you'll be a pioneer, a captain, a pirate, a hero, just as soon as we've finished developing it.
In the quiet words of the Virgin Mary, come again.
That is the really wild part. The game's not even finished. It's still in alpha. It's still technically a work in progress and has been since 2012. Now, to put that into context, in the same amount of time my nephew was born, he grew, turned into a toddler. He learned to urinate in my Nike Max and drop a rather impressively sized deuce in the garden. He started, attended and completed primary school, has had his nose bust open playing rugby, as well as earning 2 stripes in jiu-jitsu to the point where he can now practically kick my ass. And there is still no release date in sight, and yet it still operates like a live service economy on steroids. New ship concepts, referral campaigns, pledge-only paint jobs, warbond LTI exclusives, monthly events, all for a game where core features are still being built. But none of that matters to the machine, because the store is always online and the pipeline of shiny, desirable paywalled things never stops.
Hammer time!
Star Citizen is, if nothing else, something of a paradox. On the one hand, it's the best looking, most immersive tech demo ever made. It's a genuine futuristic lifestyle simulator. On the other hand, it's an open world MMO where nothing's finished and everything's for sale. It's a community project run like a luxury brand, and yet somehow it still captivates people, because hope is powerful. The promise of what Star Citizen could be is so intoxicating that people are willing to look past what it currently is and what it costs them to stay hopeful. That's the real engine behind the whole project, not CryEngine, not server meshing, not flight blades or inventory systems. It's belief that one day this will all come together, that the game will arrive, that the thousands of dollars, the years of waiting, the disappointments, the crashes will all be worth it. So yeah, it's expensive. Yeah, it's still in alpha. Yeah, the monetization is borderline dystopian. But for many players, none of that matters. Because when Star Citizen hits you with that perfect moment, landing on a moon, walking out of the hatch, watching the stars spin overhead as the sun crests the horizon, you don't think about what it costs. You just think, this is what I paid for, this is what I wanted. Now, it could turn out beautiful, or it could turn out utterly tragic, because they say the road to disappointment is paved with hope, but the road from disappointment is paved with cope. I just really hope that it can deliver.